At Freiburg Cathedral in Saxony, Germany, a unique work of art sits just outside the nave. This work is called the Tulip Pulpit, and it was sculpted between the years 1505 and 1510 by an artist who went by the name of Master H.W., or may have been named Hans Witten. The somewhat mysterious artist sculpted the pulpit at the very start of the period known as the Northern Renaissance, at a time when innovation in the arts was soaring to all new highs. Pulpits were used for numerous different events in the cathedral, both liturgical and secular. Sermons, homilies, and announcements were made from the pulpit, usually on Sundays and on holy days. They were sculpted for centuries before the sculpture was made, but the unique iconography in this example is truly remarkable. In this video, I will give a visual analysis of the pulpit and provide some comparative examples that might help to explain some of the reasons for making such a unique work of art. Visually, the pulpit is large. It seems to grow out of the floor of the cathedral with an architectural and botanical form taking shape as it moves upward. It is made of fine porphyry stone and consists of figures and plant forms in a unique arrangement. The pulpit is made of stone but almost mimics metalwork, with the sculptures being constructed in high relief with intricate details not often seen in stone. The distinction of the pulpit as a tulip was not original to its time of construction. Tulips were mostly unknown to Northern Europe until the 19th century, when this identifying distinction was first made. The tulip structure has been attributed possibly to Mary, as flowers are symbolic of Mary and her virginity. The pulpit consists of a base with the tulip structure at the front and steps to the top of the pulpit at the back. At the base of the stairs and under the stairs are two full-size sculptures of men. The older man sits near the base of the stairs, fingering his rosary, and the younger man carries the weight of the stairs on his back. One theory for the figures on the pulpit refers to the miner's legend of the prophet Daniel. In this legend, Daniel sought ore from a tree and was helped by an angel. The man at the foot of the steps could be the patron saint of miners, Daniel, and the other man could be a miner's lad who was looking for treasure, which would be the ore. Two lions, alluding to the wisdom of Solomon, come around the stairs in the back of the pulpit, and a smaller lion sits on a post next to the stairs. The vegetal tulip part of the pulpit has 4 levels. From the bottom, the second and top levels sort of bulge outward. On the second level, small angels move in a circle around the base and are almost sculpted in the round. On the top level, busts of the Latin Church Fathers, Ambrose, Augustine, Gregory, and Jerome, surround the base and are sculpted in high relief. The other 2 levels consist of simple plant forms. The sounding board that hangs above the pulpit contains half-length figures of Christ holding a vine of grapes and the Virgin Mary. They are accompanied by symbols of the 4 evangelists, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The pulpit was constructed at the start of the Northern Renaissance in what most scholars would consider late Gothic style. The mysterious nature of the pulpit is only exacerbated by the fact that because of its early date, there are very few comparisons in a similar style. The figures on this pulpit, especially the 2 near the stairs, have mostly defied modern interpretations. Some have theorized that they are master and student, Jacob and Yahweh, the donor and his son, or Daniel accompanied by a miner's lad. All of these possibilities are contradicted by the clothing of the figures. Since it does not match any of these possibilities, this part of the pulpit is seen as mostly a mystery. The same amount of mystery can be applied to the plant life depicted on the pulpit. The interest in nature is clear, but the chosen plants do not match any real plants that could have been found during the Northern Renaissance. Another potential explanation for the use of plants on the pulpit could be to represent paradise. However, these plants have wilted leaves and other representations of death and decay not typical of paradise imagery. This could possibly be translated as a memento mori, or a reminder of death, and it takes the idea of paradise in a heavenly realm and brings it back to the earthly realm. This gives the pulpit a much darker and ominous appearance. The typical iconography of plants cannot be applied to these unique and fantastical plant forms, which complicates any kind of interpretation that could be gathered from the pulpit. Likewise, the clothing and the layout of figures on the pulpit confuse modern interpretations. At the same time, people in Freiburg during the Northern Renaissance most likely would have understood the pulpit's significance. One strong argument of explanation for the tulip pulpit and where its unique iconography comes from is the influence of metalwork. As I stated earlier, this pulpit uniquely resembles the small metalwork pieces made for personal use in the Northern Renaissance. An example of such a metalwork sculpture could be the Adam and Eve made by Ludwig Krug in 1515. It is a personal metalwork object produced in Nuremberg around the same time as the tulip pulpit. While this object is less detailed and intricate than the pulpit, its production shows how popular small devotional metalwork pieces were during the Northern Renaissance. The pulpit, with its botanical and architectural forms intertwining, resembles the metalwork from this period more than sculptures made of stone. In metalwork, the main objective was to show off the value of the materials and the talents of the sculptor. This meant that inventive forms that mixed architecture and plants were not uncommon. Intricacy was crucial to the success of the metalworker, and Master H.W. with his tulip pulpit translates this on a large scale into stone. Small-scale sculptures also may have inspired the botanical form of the pulpit. Sacred metalwork objects like chalices and reliquaries, and secular items like jewelry and luxury tableware, often included leaves, fruits, flowers, and branches, which can all be related to the tulip pulpit. The secular drinking glass popular during this period and called the covered pokel was probably used as a direct example for the pulpit, with its metalwork details representing similar botanical forms. Two specific pokels, possibly designed by Albrecht Dürer and called the apple pokel and the buckle pokel, were made in the shape of an apple and pears, and their inventive structures are reminiscent of the tulip pulpit and its botanical structure. The intricacy typical of metalwork is more obvious in these two examples, with the metal cut in high relief and sculpted in the form of fruits and other vegetation. The city of Freiburg was one of the wealthiest in Saxony at the time because of the silver trade that grew and expanded after the 12th century. Since silver and other metals were more attainable in Freiburg, metalwork objects were more popular. Metalwork objects became a source of local pride among the wealthiest patrons in the city, like the Duke of Burgundy. Since the tulip pulpit resembles these metalwork objects, it most likely would have had the same effect on anyone that saw it. They would have been reminded of the metalwork objects that were so revered in the city of Freiburg. However, in the last decade of the 15th century, the situation in Freiburg changed. The mining industry that was so strong declined with new discoveries of ore in surrounding regions. The Freiburg Cathedral that had been the central source of power in the city also declined in favor of a newer cathedral in nearby Annaberg. This was the period that the tulip pulpit was built, and because of the situation in the city, less than ideal amounts of information are known about this work. The pulpit was probably commissioned by local townspeople or the new leader of the town, Heinrich the Pious, as a way to show some public pride for the fading town. This makes the pulpit into a symbol of the metal that made the city what it was. It showed that the value of the city was still there and that it shouldn't be ignored. When the city of Freiburg needed it most, the unique and biomorphic tulip pulpit stood as a symbol of the city and its past success. Master H.W. would have been aware of the importance of his sculpture in representing a still viable city. He was inspired by metalwork and other intricate sculpture from the region and time period. He probably took some inspiration from the story of the miner's legend of the prophet Daniel, once again showing attention to the city's prominent past. With the construction of the tulip pulpit beginning around the change from the Gothic to the Northern Renaissance period in Germany, Master H.W. was probably encouraged to take risks in constructing and laying out his pulpit for Freiburg Cathedral. The donors would have expected him to make something unique and interesting to draw people to the town and renew the energy and vitality of the city. While the iconography of the pulpit is still up for debate, the main goal of making a unique and impressive pulpit for the city was achieved by Master H.W. Knowing the inspirations and objectives behind the work can help to explain the reasons for making such a unique work of art.